Sunday, February 7th, we found Union Pacific's Potash local between Brendel and Moab, Utah. This 36-mile-long branch line is known as the Creek Sub. The line was built in 1963 by the Denver and Rio Grande Western to serve a large potash plant southwest of Moab. The motive power on train LDC 53 this day consisted of 2 EMDs, with the leader being a former Rio Grande unit on home rails. It was a pleasant surprise to see EMD 4-axles in charge of the train, as opposed to the typical GE 6-axle power common to this line. The Cane Creek Sub has a general track speed of 30 miles per hour until it reaches Bootlegger's tunnel near Moab, where the speed restriction is marked at 10 miles per hour. The line has 3 significant grades, with one near milepost 12 and the other 2 on both sides of 7-mile siding. The ruling grade is estimated at just over 1%, with the only real siding and station being at 7 Mile. The Potash local operates only 1 day per week, which is typically on Fridays. The only other traffic occurs when Union Pacific serves an radioactive waste site just outside of Moab. The facility focuses on the removal of radioactive soil that had been affected by uranium ore tailings, which were dumped by the former Atlas Minerals Corporation. The site is situated on the west bank of the Colorado River and encompasses 480 acres, of which approximately 130 acres is covered by a uranium mill tailings pile. The Cane Creek Subdivision is considered by many to be one of the most beautiful stretches of railroad in the United States. With many geological landmarks, bridges, the paralleling Colorado River, and a long tunnel, the branch offers rail fans many unique photographic opportunities. As the tracks exit the 7,000-foot-long Bootlegger's Tunnel at the West End portal, trains pass by the famous Corona Arch. The geological landmark is just outside of Arches National Park, but it's clearly visible from the railroad's right-of-way. Since it involves a rather long hike back to the cut where the Corona Arch can be photographed, we were unable to capture the train alongside it. Downgrade, we caught the train several times before it arrived at Intrepid Mining's Potash plant, where the crew would drop off empties and pick up loads before heading back to Brendel. Potash is the name for a class of moderately refined mixes of potassium salts. It primarily consists of potassium oxide and chloride, depending on application, but also of other potassium salts and impurities. It's mainly used as a fertilizer and can be found in abundance in Utah. These potassium salts are the result of an ancient ocean that once encompassed the state of Utah during prehistoric times. In order to reach the salts, deep underground mines must be constructed. In the early 1960s, Texas Gulf Sulfur began to dig an underground potash mine about 15 miles from Moab, Utah, halfway between Arches and Canyonlands National Parks along the Colorado River. In order to move the large quantities of potash, the Denver and Rio Grande Western contracted Morrison Knutson to construct a branch from their main line at Brendel, Utah, to the mine, a total of 36 miles. The line was completed in 1963, but Texas Gulf Sulfur did not ship product until about 1965. The mine was originally projected to produce 12,000 tons of potash every day. So for the Rio Grande, building a long branch line to serve just one customer was worth it. However, the mine never reached its full production capacity, which meant it was decades before the initial investment by the railroad was paid off. Mining potash by manual labor is a dangerous business. The year the plant opened, an explosion trapped 25 miners, killing 18. The 7 survivors lived by building a barricade to trap fresh air. In 1970, the mine was converted from manual labor to solution mining. Solution mining involves using wells to inject water deep into the deposits, which then dissolves the salts into the water, forming a brine. Solution mining is much safer and has been a practice at Moab for over 50 years. Once extracted through other wells, the brine is then pumped into giant ponds. The ponds are visible from the air and are easy to find since they resemble hues of aqua, blue, and purple. Since the area surrounding Moab has extremely low humidity and averages 300 days of direct sunlight every year, these colorful brine ponds act as giant solar collectors, evaporating the water and leaving a bed of salt crystals behind. The crystals are then picked up with large vehicles and hauled off to the plant, where the materials are refined for purity before being separated for use in various products. The Texas Gulf Sulfur Moab site was acquired by the Potash Corporation of Saskatchewan in 1995, which was later acquired by Intrepid Potash in 2000. Today, the company is the largest producer of potash in the United States. After the train traveled east through Bootlegger's tunnel, we caught the now northbound local several times before it arrived at Brendel. The lead locomotive on the return trip was Union Pacific No. 1482, a GP40M-2 that was acquired by Southern Pacific Railroad from the B&O. It was originally built in March of 1969 and was eventually acquired by and rebuilt by the SP, which was later taken over by Union Pacific in 1996. After chasing the Potash local back to Crescent Junction, we would make our way back to Provo for an early morning chase of the Utah Railway.